Drink it in, man. Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Cornbread! 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 Drink it in, man. Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Cornbread! Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
Detroit Koolaid drinkers. What's going on, everybody? It's Derek Oaker, your host here on the show, coming to you on the Friday show. It's actually midweek. I'm recording a little bit early. I told you guys on the Wednesday Detroit Koolaid Cast that life is hectic, a lot going on. I was like, I got to get them a double pod. So if something important happened, then I'm recording before that happened. But I'm here today doing the Friday show. I'm going to get you a Steelers preview. I might have a couple rants up my sleeve. I'm going to talk about how we win this football game. Lots to get into here on a Friday, everybody's favorite day of the week. So thank you so much for joining me. Now, Lions coming off the bye week. You know, lots of moving parts, lots of players moving here and there. Now, you guys know here on the Koolaid Cast, this isn't the show where we sit here and go, all right, everyone, we're going to start at the, we're going to do the roster, tell you the roster A to Z, but hey, it's a special week, we're going to go Z to A, we're really going to change it up. No, we don't do that. Like, there's other shows that do that. You know, they go ahead and give you the, you know, chronological, this, that, and the other. Like, on this show, try to talk in generalities. I try to talk football. I try to enjoy the show with you guys. So here's what I got. A lot of people going in and out. Let me just do this off the top of my head. I told you on the Wednesday show, no Odell Beckham Jr., even though the Lions need a receiver, need to sell tickets, need a dynamic talent at lots of different positions. They passed on him. Okay, so that's out. They also moved on from Grandpa Darren Fells. Not a big deal. He didn't make many plays. I can't understand why he's going out anywhere. I pretty much guarantee by the time you're hearing this, nobody scooped up Darren Fells and was very excited about it. You know, they're bringing up Brock Wright, you know, at tight end, another young guy that has his chance. They've talked about putting St. Brown at the Z receiver. St. Brown really seems like like he's unfazed, like he's just a positive guy, rookie, you know, trying to find his spot, work hard. Like he sounds good about playing Z receiver, playing slot wherever they need him. And I think you do need to force the football to him and Khalif Raymond and Mr. Hawkinson, Swift, whoever you got to do a lot more. And Dan Campbell has talked about throwing it down the football field. There's a novice idea. Maybe throw it more than 3 yards and you know, right in front of your face, Jared Goff. That would be a nice improvement. So, you know, they talked about doing some different things. You know, Dan Campbell, here's one thing I like about him. Dan freaking Campbell. Like, every time he steps to a podium, he talks very open and honestly, but I do think he's a smart guy. Like, I also think he's not a whiteboard guy, I don't think, where he's drawing up X's and O's left, right, and center. But I do think he's very smart of just knowing what works, what doesn't, where they're weak, where they're strong, trying to get the best out of what he currently has, which we know has proven this season not to be good enough in regards to talent. But when he does talk football about, hey, we can do this better. Hey, you didn't recognize this, zone dog blitz off the backside. We got to be better there. Like, he knows the game. He really does. So I like that a lot. Now, if I had to give a little advice to Mr. Campbell, the only thing I'd say is, like, we don't always need to be giving out every nugget to these reporters. Some things are a little bit tactical. If you have a guy that's maybe playing, maybe not, and they're impactful in the game plan, you might just want to say, like, we'll see where he's at the end of the week or when the final injury report comes out, because when he just tells you on like a Monday or Tuesday so and so's not playing, I think it does give the other team like, oh, all right, cool, we don't have to worry about that anymore. Same with roster moves and some of the things that are going wrong on his team. Like, there is a sense to be a little bit more tactful. Now, again, I've said before, it doesn't need to be the FBI. We don't need to hide every secret. You can be honest. There's no doubt about it. But sometimes he's a little too honest, too open, in my opinion. So look for that. But like I said, I'm trying to get these shows done, trying to have a little fun. So let's just get right into a couple of things right here. And like when you're talking about the Steelers preview, like what a great franchise, don't get me wrong. I remember we had a tailgate years ago outside of Ford Field, and they were playing the Steelers, and like this whole set of Steelers dudes rolled up right next to our tailgate. There's probably like 6 or 8 dudes, all with their jackets, their jerseys, their hats, and we were just talking trash all day while we're grilling, throwing the football. And like, I just remember my tagline for the day was, "We don't like you, but we respect you." Because you cannot not respect the rings, the history, the way they built their football team, their head coach, the different type of ball players, the way they play the game. All that type of stuff is really impressive and important. So, going to Pittsburgh is kind of a cool thing for Lions fans. I know I have multiple friends that'll be out there at the game, taking in the city, the stadium, the bars, everything that goes with a Pittsburgh sports day. And like I said, I think Michigan is out there for Penn State as well. So what a great road trip. I mean, I would love to be there. Don't get me wrong. That would be incredible. But, one thing I said too on the show before is I believe in the up-down theory in the National Football League. So the Steelers have won multiple games in a row. They just got gifted another game on Monday Night Football with some shady business by referees. I mean, let me know if you've heard that before. And like, for me, it's like, this might be a game where the Lions come in and get a W when it's really, really, really unexpected. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but the Jacksonville Jaguars just beat the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills just played the Jaguars and scored 6 points. Like, show me the person that had that predicted. Show me somebody that took the Jaguars in their survivor pool. I'll wait. Yeah, that's what I thought. Nobody. So no one's going to give the Lions a chance. No one is going to pick them to win this game. No one is going to expect them to win this game on paper. But like I say, the weather's nice. Pittsburgh's got some faulty things on their football team. Lions can, hold Najee Harris at bay, as well as, keep this trio of receivers decent, get after Big Ben, who sits back there like a statue. I don't know. It definitely could be hey, we won. We're taking this team lightly. We got this W, and then bam. Lions go into Pittsburgh and get a W. So that's not my prediction right now, but I'm saying that's something I do believe in, that when teams are hot, they fall. When teams are a bit down, they show up and beat someone unexpectedly. A player on your fantasy team hasn't been having many good weeks, but he's got a nice matchup and he's a premier talent. That's when I expect them to blow up. That's kind of how I roll with the game. I don't do this, he's had 2 bad weeks, so that must mean his 3rd week will be bad. Or, hey, he's been injured, so I'm sure he'll get injured. No, I don't do that. I never will do that. But I do believe in things flipping, or kind of knowing when to look for that flip. And this is one of those things. You hear it in college football all the time. This is a trap game, right? I think this could be that for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the Pittsburgh Steelers. One of the honored, storied franchises that I mentioned earlier, as well as one of the NFL's favorites. That's right. You know who it is. Pittsburgh, Dallas, the New England Patriots, the Chiefs. This year, the Los Angeles Rams, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, now that Tom Brady's there, the New York Giants, You know, all those teams that every year they get special treatment from the league, they get calls, they are lifted on this pedestal even when they have horrible rosters. I got a good buddy, Chuck Dog. You guys have heard him on the show, Chuck the Magazine. He's always going to Barnes & Noble and still buying a fantasy football magazine even though it's 2021. You guys know him, right? This guy's a huge Dallas Cowboy fan. Dallas Cowboys, he rags on the Lions. I'm like, what the Cowboys done in the past 3 decades? Nothing. Like 20 plus years they haven't been good or won anything yet. Yet he rubs it in my face all day. But here's the thing. So those type of teams, they get favored by the NFL. There's no question about it. And I actually like I'll hit up Chuck Dog. Oh, hey man, like good win by your Cowboys, because the Cowboys are fun to watch, man. They got premier talent everywhere. They got an outward owner. They got great facilities. Like they do it right. They do it top notch, and that's what I'm hoping the Lions will do either now or in the future. And you know, but it doesn't make up for like the Giants have been horrible and they just get love in the media, and they talk about all their and just like, why? Because you're a New York team. Why? Because you're the new flashy Rams or the Buccaneers. Like you're just, it continues to happen. And like I hate to go on an officiating rant right now, but now is a better time. There's no better time than right now. Like, please tell me that you guys don't watch the games every week, and you're like, you have got to be kidding me that you are paid to do this. You watched it on a little screen in super ultra high def. You were in communication with probably 10 other people. What do they say? Gotta go call back to New York. Gotta call back to the, whatever they call it. They always gotta get New York in there about the headquarters. Like, you probably got 10, 15, 20 some people in there that all are highly paid, got 1 million screens, 1 million different views, and they get this wrong every week, multiple times a week, on the simplest of plays. These guys can't do it. NFL officials are ruining the games. It's unbearable to watch. Flag every play. Half the flags aren't even valid. They still don't know what pass interference is. They're making up rules with the taunting and the this and the that. And the thing is, like, again, we have fun on the show with the conspiracy music and this and that, but it's like, there's definitely times where I'm watching these games and I'm like, that guy can't believe that call. I'm not saying that there's like something on behind the scenes with all the betting and things that are going on now, but I am saying that, like, I don't think a normal human being that has a good head on his shoulders and, like I said, is a paid official can look at some of these plays and make the type of calls they do. And then you got the goofs up in the booth, Dean Blandino and Mike Pereira, who like come on and they're supposed to be the experts of the experts, and they don't ever have a clue. It's an obvious incompletion. Oh, I don't know. It looks to me like he got his hands under that ball. The ball is obviously moving. Oh, I don't know. I think he got it and got his knee down. No, like every week. And like I said, go back and look. I would love somebody to do a study on like all these questionable calls to get reviewed. Go show me the stats, on who gets those calls. I guarantee you, if you did a long study over years and years, it's going to be Dallas. It's going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's going to be, I forgot them earlier, but they are the most smug of smug, one of the most favored, one of the most pampered teams by the referees, the Green Bay Packers. I mean, look at all the calls those teams get. And look at the calls where they don't give a crap about when it's in a Lions game. They just make up rules. They just end of a game. I know they should have another possession, but we'll just call it and run the clock out. It continually happens. So it's ridiculous to see these favored teams. It's ridiculous to see like the them always lean towards the who's going to get the best TV ratings, who do we want to see in the playoffs, who's going to make us the most money in the Super Bowl. Like, we know it's a business, but it also can't be a business where you're just manufacturing results. Like, somebody on Twitter was like, man, NFL officials now are like WWE, like it's just made up ahead of time, and all they got to do is go through the motions to get to the finish that they decided beforehand. Like, that is what it feels like sometimes, and it's got to stop. It really does. Like, you need people to, here's a novel idea. You have officials out there that are making these ridiculous calls. Have someone above the officials that can literally buzz down and go, hey, no, you dumb idiots. Like, we're not going with that call. We're not going with that decision, which is always stands. Like, I saw it clear as day. We're reversing that call, or we're confirming that call. We're not just saying stands because you're a lazy bum and you don't know what the difference is in the game. So it's got to stop. The favoritism, the referees just being, I think Mike Lombardi said on his podcast, like, these refs need to know nobody paid to come watch you. Nobody came to watch you throw flags. Nobody came because, oh man, I can't wait to watch this zebra call the game. I can't wait to see what he does next. No, they came to see the teams, the players, and things like that. So get out of the way and stop changing results of ball games based on horrible calls. It's ridiculous, especially when you know if you're playing one of the favorite franchises that's going against you. You might as well, like, hey, however many Super Bowls you got, that's going to be a plus a half point for every Super Bowl that you got before the game even starts. Like, that's what it feels like. If you don't have any rings, you don't have any big-time playoff wins or any marquee talent, like, good luck trying to win in some of these ball games. So there we go. There's my rant for the day. But they're a favored franchise. I doubt the Lions will ever be a favored franchise when it comes to results on the field or love they get from the front office. You'll always hear behind the scenes, oh, they love the Lions at the team meetings, at the GM, at the owners meetings. They're just one of the frontline people. Like, yeah, because they're giving you Ford sponsorships, or because they're not giving you hell like all these other great owners who get up in your face when you make these stupid calls. We just continue to go along with it. Oh, no problem, boss. Like, we'll just toe the company line. What's it got us over however many decades? Nothing. So there you go. Like I said, rant over now for real. So let's do this. Before I get into kind of how they can win this game, things like that, let's take a quick pause for our great sponsor. When we come back, I kind of want to get into like some projected starters, both in this game or moving forward this year, as well as, what are you guys expecting in 2022? Let's put a couple draft picks in the mix. Let's put a couple, skeleton lineups out there and see what we're looking forward to here while we're drinking that wonderful, delicious, victory-flavored Detroit Koolaid.
Drink it in, man.
And we'll get my prediction out there, and then we'll get up out of here. So everybody, we'll take a quick pause. We'll be right back. All right, everybody. This goes out to my fantasy football fans out there. Now, you probably heard about Reality Sports Online, the most powerful fantasy sports platform where owners can build and manage their fantasy team like a real NFL general manager. But the question is, have you tried it? I mean, we're talking free agency, multi-year contracts, rookie drafts, multi-team trades. You can put franchise tags on guys. It's as close as you're going to get to being an NFL GM. But do you think it sounds complicated? It's not. I'm here to tell you it's the best thing about Reality Sports Online is it's just more fun than your normal fantasy league, but it doesn't take barely any more time. After all this, are you still not sure? I mean, come on now. You can test your general manager skills by going over to Reality Sports Online, call it RSO. Please go check out realitysportsonline.com right now. All right, Detroit Kool-Aid drinkers, thank you so much for listening to our sponsors. Definitely, I hope you guys are enjoying fantasy football. I'm having a real fun fantasy football season this year. One of the ones I'm most proud of, like, I'm in all these deep, crazy dynasty leagues. Like, those are going well. I'm, top of the food chain in my league of years and years with all my buddies, just a simple ESPN league. So that's been fun to be winning in that one. Got a good roster there. But the one I'm kind of most proud of is that I don't even know if it's out there. I don't think it matters that I'm bringing this up, but it hasn't fully debuted. It's kind of like in beta right now, even if you can find it online. It's by Pro Football Focus. You guys know, again, I don't mention it too much, but I do work for Pro Football Focus, doing lots of work, video and other things for them. So that's fun. That usually keeps me busy, basically from Thursdays through Sundays on the weekends, around all the other million things I do. You guys see my articles come out on USA Today Lions Wire, where I'm, writing fantasy football articles with a little bit of a Lions twist, Lions breakdown every week. Those usually drop on Thursday mornings. And Pro Football Focus has this thing that they're testing out, and they let me be a part of this year, called All 22. And what it is fantasy football, but you really build like a full roster of 55 guys. And what's cool about it is it's not based on like fantasy points. It's based on the PFF grades. So you basically get the player's grade times their position weight, which for like quarterbacks is like 9%, 9 point something percent. And then like a guard might be like 3.8%, however they have it broken down. So you get the PFF grade times that percentage, gives you the amount of points they scored. And then you put a legit NFL starting lineup out there, both offense, defense. You can actually move your setup too. So let's say maybe you got really great receivers. You can tell it beforehand that you want to run 3 wide sets this year, so you can get 3 starting wide receivers. Maybe you got some banged up receivers. Maybe you go to only 2 wide outs, 11 personnel, whatever it is, if you got some tight ends. So it's like you can really customize it based on your team, as well as like you got to be strong at the best positions: quarterback, defensive end, interior defensive player, corner. You got to have really good wide receivers. So I've had a ton of fun with that league, and again, the draft came really quick. I tried to prep a little bit as best I can. 8-1 in that league, really doing well and enjoying it. Every week it's kind of like real interesting to see how the scores break down, and you're always trying to make sure, hey, you got an injured guy, they go on IR, you're trying to get another player in there. You got to look at your depth every week and make sure you got guys that, if you're a little thin at a spot, maybe you add a tight end, then next week you take that guy off because you got to add a guard because you got a guy on a bye week. So anyway, long and short is just to say, hope you're enjoying fantasy football. I'm really enjoying the All 22 on Pro Football Focus. Trying to rack up those W's, as well as, if you didn't do it this year, why not? But go check out realitysportsonline.com. I'm telling you, it is the platform. If you love fantasy football, you can get a team. You got to balance the budget. You get to sign guys to contracts. You get to really build a football team and have a lot of fun. And it's very easy to do. So definitely go check that out. So there you go. A little bit of an extended fantasy football plug there, because I had a little extra time and I wanted to get that out so you guys can enjoy that. So I did my rant. I talked about the Steelers. Again, here's where I'll kind of come back from the rant. Like, I want the Lions to be like the Steelers. I want them to find that foundation, find that head coach, have those people that, like, year after year we put out a quality product, whether it be, the Steelers, man, they've been ferocious on defense, and there's some years they're high-flying offense, but they do have some core principles, and I'd really like to see the Lions develop those as well and start to play more like a Steelers, more like a, just some of the storied franchises that I kind of had fun with earlier, is that, they're storied for a reason, because they solid top to bottom, they win, all those things that we want the Lions to do. So hopefully they develop in that. Now, I told you guys we're going to do some projected starters both now and in the future. So, when you're looking at this game on Sunday against Pittsburgh, to me, for the Lions, I think you're going to see a lot more Trinity Benson. Now, I know Brad Holmes, GM of the Lions, is quoted as saying, "Who the hell is Trinity Benson?" before he gave up a 5th-round pick plus for this guy. And if you ask me, most Lions fans are saying, "Who the hell is Trinity Benson?" because he's done nothing still, and we're in week 10, everybody. But here's the thing, I feel like he came along slow, he hasn't made plays, had a few drops, had some mistakes, whatever it is. By now he's up to speed on everything. They realize they don't have much else out there, so I really think you're going to see more of number 17 Trinity Benson, as well as St. Brown on the outside, as well as still getting excited about Leaf Khalif Raymond, I think that he's going to continue to make plays more than you would expect. So they might be kind of a fun little trio to watch. Again, very under the radar, very low name value. But I do think Trinity Benson will be more of an impact player, maybe even be in a starting role by the time the season gets towards an end, and people will be a little more excited about this guy that they ended up making a trade right as the season got going, made a trade for him. Now, again, with you got to try to win ball games, but I really just want to see these young guys. So I think your starters, you're going to be looking at a lot of Aleem McNeil and Levi together. I think they're going to wean off Brockers a little bit just because they know what he is. I think that Brockers come back and have a nice 2022 for this team. But I think that you need to see Levi and Aleem next to each other, see what they got, and see what else you can do there. Same with Derek Barnes. I feel like as good as Anzalone's playing, you can see that transition happening where he's teaching him the calls, he's helping him out. You would hope that Derek Barnes would maybe snatch that mantle and become the ball player there, and Anzalone be his Robin to his Batman. You'd hope that would happen as well. But when you're looking, some of the other guys are just set based on injuries and whatnot. But when you're looking towards next year, if I just had to do it off the top of my head, looking at both sides of the ball, like Decker, Jonah, Ragnow, and Sewell are penciled in, right? So you got 4 out of your 5 old linemen set. You would think you'd move on from Hal Vaitai, so maybe you get a cheap, right guard veteran, but he's better than what we've had and cheaper. On the outsides, you're looking at probably starting next year with, an high-end rookie, probably a rookie in the first, second, or third round that'll be out there. St. Brown, hopefully could move him back to a slot or, make him a impactful piece, but not lean on him as heavy as they will or have been. I think that St. Brown, though, will be a nice piece here in the future for this team. They obviously didn't make any drastic moves, so I would assume you wouldn't do that in the offseason as well. So T.J. Hawkinson will be out there doing his thing next year with more talent. DeAndre Swift, Jay Swag, both of them will be back. So you got a really nice core on offense other than wide receiver. You need depth at tight end. So those are the spots that I would focus in the draft. There's a lot of good receivers, again, as there always is. So probably second, third round would be my sweet spot, looking for a wide receiver. Now, if you get to the end of the first round with that Rams pick and there's a guy glaring that's just a dead stud that is speed and size, or he can separate and do all the things you look for, snag him up. Like we clearly know that we need a top end guy, and if you can't get one in free agency, then yeah, by all means take one at the bottom of the first round and make him your WR1, no doubt about it. Now when you look on defense, same type of thing. You're looking at the upfront guys. To me, Brocker's on this team, Levi, Aleem McNeil's on this team. I don't know if Austin Bryant's contract's up, but if he has one more year, I'd assume he's on the team. Both Okwaras are on this team. Mr. Okuda is on this team. Oh, baby. Might have to say that about his career because, I'm keeping him. And yeah, he probably has another year or two left on a rookie deal, but I'm not enthralled. He's got to show me more. He's got to step up. But if he does, and plus because he's under contract, he'll probably be here. Tracy Walker, to me, is interesting because he's showing that he should be kept. But, what's Tracy Walker going to ask for? What's he going to get in the open market? Like, I would love to keep him here, but he seems like he would have to come at the right price. And I just don't know. I feel like he's either going to be too expensive or he's just going to be not good enough to really justify when there's other safeties you go out and get that probably be better, consistently better, make more turnovers, whatever the thing might be. So I don't know. Tracy, I'd probably keep him around if I can sign him to the right deal, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing somewhere else next year. And then the linebackers, yes, if you have Derek Barnes, but yes, they seem to love Jalen Reeves-Maybin, but I think you could make a lot of upgrades there. So as much as you like Anzalone, he's played decent. As much as you like Jalen Reeves-Maybin, I'm pretty sure both in free agency and the draft, you're going to be able to upgrade at one or two of those spots. And again, they only play like two linebackers most of the time. So if you get Derek Barnes, you get another beast in the first or through the fourth round, you're probably going to be good. And then just supplement your depth with some of these other guys that you can find, either veterans, young veterans, or even just a leader, a captain type. You need to find some of that. And you need some more rush off the edge. That's another spot I'd be looking at. Again, if you have the number 1 pick, to me, it's Thibodeau. You take him, you put him and Romeo on the outsides, and you blitz people from the outside linebacker spots, and you get after the quarterback. That's what I would do. So, again, I tried to pump you guys up on the Wednesday show saying, this is why you drink the Detroit Kool-Aid. I just gave you a lot of positions on both sides of the ball that are covered. And you can say, oh, well, they're not covered. Oh, look how they're playing. Like, the thing is, they're covered at that baseline, and then you look for upgrades. You look for depth. You look to add the appropriate pieces at the appropriate time. That's what I think they're going to do. I'm not saying all these guys I named off are all-world NFL dead nut starters. I'm saying that's a nice foundation to build off, and then it's like, hey, this guy's better than our current linebacker. Hey, this is a better corner than AO, but doesn't mean he has to be off the team. Hey, this receiver is a plug-and-play guy that can get us 80 to 100 catches and a good amount of touchdowns. Those are the things you're looking for. And next thing you know, your team is just elevating based on its baseline. And now you're putting in guys in slots that are weak, and now they're becoming strengths pretty quickly. That's what happens in the National Football League. So I think that can happen, and I'm excited about it. I really am. I think it can be really fun to watch. I think they could get really good once they get healthy again, and once they plug in these holes that I know look glaring right now. But I'm here to tell you, Frank Ragnow, Romeo, Decker, Mr. Okut, these guys make a ton of difference. Those are like your top 4 or 5, type talents on this team right now. So if you add another rookie crop, a decent free agency class, and maybe get a big name talent at 1 or 2 spots, you're rolling. And that's what I think they'll do in 2022. So there you go, everybody. Drink that in. Hold on. Drink it in. Let me pour it out for you.
Drink it in, man.
There you go. Side of cornbread.
Cornbread!
Make it a double.
Cornbread!
All right, so let's finish out with this. I mean, how do the Lions get a dubski in Pittsburgh on Sunday? I mean, here's my real quick breakdown of the game. Again, I'm not giving you defensive and offensive ratings. I'm not going to go down and give you PFF scores. I'm just here to tell you that Najee Harris is a ball player. I mean, he can catch, he can run. He's a really dynamic talent. He's a great kid, funny guy. I think he's going to be a NFL star for a long time. Now, the Lions usually have trouble with those type of guys because, yeah, they've been pretty good against the run at times, but this is a guy that can catch that little screen like Swift does, and he can be gone. This is a guy that can give you fits all over the football field. So I think you got to start with him, hold him down. You look on the outside for Pittsburgh Steelers, you got Claypool, you got Deontay Johnson, just one of my favorite players in fantasy and one of my favorite players in the league now. And then you got James Washington, who everyone's written off, and he's got elite type speed. And Juju's obviously hurt. So the Steelers, again, doing something that I want the Lions to do. I want them to find that core. You got to have 2 real quality receivers. The really good teams have 3 that can stretch you in different ways. And the really, really good teams can even go past that with tight ends, running backs, whatever it may be, and just spread out your defense. So, again, it's not going to be easy because Claypool can go up over you, either with his speed or his physicality. Washington can run past you. Deontay Johnson can cut you up route running. So they got a lot of issues on the outside. Now, my big thing is Ben Roethlisberger. Every time I've seen him this year, he looks like he's throwing the ball soft toss. He can't move. I would just really try to get after him, speed up his clock, confuse him, hit him any chance you get. That's going to give the Lions the best chance on defense. They're going to need to create some turnovers and tip balls, whatever it may be, fumbles, try to rip at the football. That's going to be something they're going to have to put a focus on, I believe. On offense, I mean, again, Pittsburgh has some nasty defenders too. You're looking at Hayward still up there doing his thing. You got T.J. Watt. You've got Minka in the back end. You know what I mean? And you got Devin Bush in the middle. You got Schobert. Gosh, they got players at every level, right? So I know they haven't been a juggernaut this season. They were down, and now they're up. They could be down again. I said that earlier in the show. But it's not going to be easy for the Lions offense playing in Pittsburgh. against this type of team that even like their holes, I mean, they can cover up their holes when TJ Watt's unblockable and you got beasts in the middle and you've got linebackers that can play and you got Minka roll in the back end. So I just think, again, offensively, you're just waiting for that Jared Goff game where he makes plays, he throws it down the field. Hey, here's a thought. Maybe we get a couple penalty calls, a couple pass interferences where even if you don't catch it, it's still a 40-yard penalty. Those are the kind of things that flip the football field. So I think the Lions are going to have to try to, I don't know if I get in a track meet or a slugfest with Pittsburgh. Like, I think that their best way to win is going to be in that upper teens, low 20s. So if I had to put a prediction on this game, again, this isn't one that, as much as I want the Lions to get a W on the road at Pittsburgh, even though it's after a bye, I don't necessarily see it. So I'd probably go 27 for Pittsburgh and maybe, 21 for the Lions. Can they get 3 scores in there? With the way Goff has been playing, I'll give them that. So 21-27, lose by a touchdown or so, but I think it'd still be a fun game to watch. I think there's going to be plays on both sides of the football. I think the Lions will have some tricks up their sleeve, as well as Jared Goff can't play much worse. Like DeAndre Swizzle coming off a bad game, he's going to be better. Hawkinson's ready to go. You've got some guys on the outside that have something to prove. So, yeah, that's about where I'm at. 27-21. I got Pittsburgh in this game, but hopefully then the Lions can come back and either get one at Turkey Day or against Atlanta, or I'm hoping they get a few, to be honest. But it is going to be tough. But it wouldn't shock me if the Lions shocked Pittsburgh and come out of here with a 3-point win or a fluky finish or I don't know. I could see something crazy going on where the Lions win this ball game as well. So that's usually a Logan Lamorandier take where he kind of gives you the negative and then gives you a little bit of positivity, kind of rides that fence. But that's kind of what I'm going to do on this game because I'm really excited to watch the Lions again. I'm always drinking that Detroit Koolaid. You know how we do.
Drink it in, man.
And I think the cornbread is that maybe they can get themselves together and just play a solid football game for 4 quarters and find a way to come up at the winning end because Pittsburgh's been on a high note. Maybe they're on a low note.
Cornbread!
There it is. So everybody, again, went solo. I got my great guests coming back, as well as I'll turn up the juice for you in the next couple weeks once I get a few things handled here on the busy scale. But again, don't tell people you're too busy. Enjoy life. Have fun. And I'll catch you guys next week right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Take care, everybody. I'm out.
Pack the bag. Start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions. Drink it in, man.